What are some common black hat SEO techniques to avoid?
To avoid. Good. Well, so some of the SEO techniques to avoid have already been let's just say, penalized might be the wrong word, but yeah, I guess penalized is the right word, by Google. Okay. So I remember I had a question in one of my in-person classes years ago, and somebody asked me, well, how long do the regular SEO techniques last? Like, how long do they work for? And I thought about it, I was like, I never heard that question before, right? How long do SEO tactics work for? How good, how long are they good for? And I went, huh. And I've been teaching the class for about 8 or 10 years at that point in time. And I went, what's funny is, like, a lot of the stuff that we're teaching now, we were teaching 10 years ago. A lot of the stuff that we've been saying, this is how Google wants it, hadn't changed in like 10 years. What has a lifespan is the black hat stuff, is the things that you shouldn't be doing. So some black hat things you have something called cloaking. Cloaking was a really bad one. This was the idea of looking at the IP address of who's calling for your information. And if it was a robot, like a spider, like from Google or Yahoo or something, sending the robot to a page that the user didn't see, but it was filled with the things that Google liked. But nobody saw it but Google, because you're kind of redirecting it based on the bot, based on the IP. And then a regular user would come and they'd see your main website. That was considered a no-no, big no-no. Actually, BMW got like thrown off of Google for a while for doing this. Okay, so you don't have to be a small fry. This was BMW got fired. You can look it up. BMW was literally ousted from Google for that. So that was a big one. Link spam. So going out, paying somebody, and this used to be very prevalent. Hey, give us $100 and we'll get you into 10,000 directories. And the directories would all be junk. Nobody would ever visit from the directories, but they were using your keyword phrase as a link. And so this was link manipulation. So the idea of getting all of your top keywords that you want to get found for, put in as a link on other people's websites back to your website, that is a black hat technique that Google penalized with their Penguin algorithm, which is sort of a standalone for a while, but is now baked into the normal everyday algorithm. Copying or scraping content from other websites, copying it, putting it on your websites, claiming it's your own, without any kind of true update. Or, it's okay to like grab a block of content from someone's website, put it on yours, reference where it's coming from, and then argue against or for what they're doing. Kind of a just an editorial on somebody in a sense. Nothing wrong with that, but adding some real value. So scraping content. Duplicating content on multiple domains was very big for a long time. Someone would get a website that was ranking really well for a number of good keywords, and what they would do back then is, let's say they were ABC company, right? So they'd go get DEF, and they'd go get GHI and JKL and MNO, all .coms. They have like 10 of them, and they put the exact same website on all 10 domains, because if one was ranking at the top of Google, well, if I have 10 of the same ones, I'll get 10 domains. And for a while that worked back then. But you don't want to do that. You want original, unique content that's focused on your users, that offers value, that has a brand. It's about building brands now. Keyword stuffing, another one. Get rid of it. The idea of like every other word being a keyword phrase, or like if a vacation cruise is the keyword you're going after, and you got some content that says, hey, if you're looking to go on your next vacation cruise, then contact us for your vacation cruise needs. Our vacation cruise company will guarantee your vacation cruise will be the best one you and your family have ever had. So for the next time you want to go on a vacation cruise, contact Steve's Vacation Cruise Company and we'll book you on a great vacation cruise. Like, that's got to go away. That just is no good anymore. And we used to see it all the time, and it used to work. No,
I would totally buy a vacation. Like, it's just pounded into my brain at that point.
And you'll still see it every now and then. You will still see it every now and then. But nowadays, it's unnecessary. It'll penalize. Keywords, stuffing a bunch of keywords. With keywords meta tag. Keywords meta tag hasn't been a ranking factor in like 15 years. You're just wasting time and effort. In fact, you're going to get no benefit from not, you're going to, or lose anything from not using it. But if you use it and you use it incorrectly, you could get basically penalized for spam. Using multiple title tags was a big one also. When we first figured out that title tags were a big deal, that Google looked at the title tags and saw the keywords in the title tag, and that was, it showed as the blue link that you click on for the most part. that was, hey, so, well, if one title tag, or let's put 6 title tags in, maybe it'll pick the one that we, with the keyword in it that we like. That's a Black Hat thing. I remember years ago with Flash, when Flash was like, just the whole page was in Flash, and Flash wasn't indexed. The content couldn't be read by Google. And so what people would do is they would hide content. They would hide it. They'd use the Z index, right? A Z, so you have, X and Y, left and right, up and down. Z is depth, right? So if you have a Z index, so if you have your Flash showing on front, but you could basically put text behind it, right? So it would be invisible to the user, but the text could be read by Google. That was a cheat. When style sheets came out, same thing. You could use margins and padding to move text left and right. Well, people would put on a Flash page, they'd put a margin of like -1,000 or -2, whatever it was, and they'd have the text, but it was shifted all the way to the left, in a sense, off the screen, so you couldn't see it, but the text was on the HTML page. So the people would hide text in comments in HTML. So all of these are just, they're no-nos. Doing them is not going to help you. Doing them and getting caught is going to get you penalized. There's a bunch of other ones out. These are just top of my head things I remember, that just kind of flooded back as I'm talking about them. Today, I'd say if you're looking for today's stuff, avoid doing any kind of schema. Schema.org or structured data, by putting stuff in structured data that's not actually on the page. That's a no-no. That's a big thing. Don't do that. It's a big Black Hat kind of thing these days. Again, same thing with description, keywords, and title tags, shoving a bunch of keywords in title tags or descriptions. No value to your user. Always think users. Does this help my users? Would I do this if the search engine did not exist? And if you could say yes, it helps my users, and you could say yes, I would do it even if search engine didn't exist, go for it. But if you're answering no to either of those questions, it's probably a mistake for you to be doing it, and don't do it. Find a better way. Find a good reason to do something valuable for your users.
That is actually, when I think back, a pretty clever way to deal with Flash back then. I mean, it kind of makes sense that you'd want to have some of that content in there, even though the search, it's sort of like you're trying to help the search engine go, hey, this is.
Yeah, but it was a cheat. In essence, it's a cheat. It's like, you're hiding stuff. Don't get me wrong. All of these things, as you said the word, very clever, creative, okay? And now it's sort of a lot of what SEO has been over the years has been creative. What can I do to make it better? And again, making it better was ranking better. It wasn't making it better for users. What can I do to rank better? Now, back then, all you had to deal with was a couple of ads at the top. Actually, they weren't even at the top, they were on the side, right? Google ads were on the right-hand side of the screen. They weren't at the top, okay? And at the top was only the 10 blue links. You didn't have all this other crap above. You didn't have ads at the top. There were no local service ads, or what some people call Google guarantee ads at the top. You didn't have any local listings at the top back then. All you had were the 10 blue links. For a little while, sometimes you had an indented link as well. So you may have a nice top link and an indented second link, and then you'd have other links below it. But nowadays, my goodness, especially with the mobile device, they had to move things on top. And now that first actual link, the actual Google #1 organic spot on a mobile device might be 3 or 4 screens down, down the page. If you are looking on the desktop, it might be a full page or 2 down on the screen. So, we're seeing a lot less natural organic clicks coming through. And so that's kind of what, for the previous question about what else should I learn, I'm saying learn the things that are at the top. Learn local service ads, which is part of the Google Ads platform. Learn Google Ads. Do local, because those things are showing up above everything else right now. And that's where you're going to make the most value for your clients or for your boss, as far as what they're doing for them. So that goes back to the other question: what else should I learn? But, yeah, fun stuff though back in the day, I'll tell you.
I know you took me down memory lane there.
I did. I took myself down memory lane right there.
Yeah, I remember a time when I was working for a guy, and we had 5 different websites, and I had all 5 of them in the top 10 for the keywords that we wanted.
Yeah,
and I was totally doing that.
Yeah, totally different animal now these days. I mean, But that's what we did. That's what we did. That was what, that's what worked. There was no penalty for doing that. There was no rules against it. It's like, this works. We're going to keep doing that. And then Google went, well, that's not really our intent. So for a long while, let's go back to this again, just kind of reminiscing. So Google had a Google toolbar, right? And they would show you your page rank. Page rank was from 1 to 10 on a logarithmic scale.
Oh, I remember. Yeah, I remember that.
So
Yeah.
going from 1 to 2 was a hell of a lot easier than going from 6 to 7 or 7 to 8. It was logarithmically harder. And they didn't give you any points. So if you were like a 2.1 versus 2.9, it showed you as a 2. But the 2.9 logarithmically was a lot better off than the 2.1. So people got all bent out about PageRank, and people would go buy links on pages with a high PageRank because PageRank passes value. Okay, as the link itself, the higher the value of the page, the more well known and respected it is, the more value it passes to the place that's linking to it. So nowadays, Google stopped reporting that, right? But people used to buy links for PageRank. Google stopped reporting that. Doesn't mean they don't still use PageRank; they just don't report it anymore. Now we're using alternate metrics like domain authority from Moz, or we use citation flow or trust flow from Majestic. I forget what Ahrefs has. They have their own metric, and SEMrush has a metric. It's just how they calculate what they think is going to be better. And as long as you're kind of looking at the same scale, you kind of have a reference point to begin with who's better than the other one. But you got to remember that Google's got there's no involvement. So if you see a domain authority of something really high or something really low, doesn't mean Google's going to do anything with it. There's no domain authority has nothing to do with Google. It's a tool that Moz has built to help you figure out the potential for ranking of a particular website or the page and the value of the page. So, again, it's just yeah, it's been an interesting run. But nowadays, man, Google has gotten really smart. They've hired people that were doing SEO. They've hired people that were doing Black Hats over the years to figure out what it is that people are doing, why they were doing it, and finding ways to say, look, if you do that, you're going to be cut out. You're not going to get ranked. You're going to get penalized, depending how bad the situation is. But yeah, there's a lot to be said for just thinking about your users, making a great site because you want to be the best at what you do, as opposed to you want to be ranked number one. Big difference.